goes all the way to Washington, D.C., huh? Goes all the way to Washington, D.C.
I don't know.
Yeah, you Homeland Security?
No.
Yeah. How far have you taken this down to, how far have you actually ran a load? 100 miles? Up to Maine? No shit. How many miles do you think that is? Man, that's unbelievable. Not to mention, I heard there's one that goes all the way to Colorado, right? Unbelievable. What do you think you're hauling? Any idea?
Crap.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Crap makes all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't really know.
Yeah. I know there's been a lot of military stuff being hauled around lately, that's for sure, huh?
Yeah, but not in here. We deliver to military.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
For their food.
Yeah. 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 Well, I appreciate I heard that's water supply, food supply, everything's in there.
Huh?
Yeah, unbelievable.
But you don't get no cell phone for service.
No. Peace, brother. I mean, basically, you got an underground roadway system here that runs all the way to Maine, to Washington, D.C., to Colorado. It's fully stocked. It runs completely underground. And you can see they've been hauling tons of military equipment. You know, they're stocking all these bases. Now, the other thing is the railroad system here is also very strategic. They're bringing in boxcar loads and they're dump shipping here, and they can really deliver to all these locations, which these locations go all the way to Area 51. These locations go all the way to Washington, D.C. There's access underneath the White House to this location, okay? So this is a strategic location, which is really the new command center for the Illuminati and the United States government. Well, forget the United States government. This is a headquarters for the Illuminati. This is where they'll ship most of their supplies. When they go underground, they can stay underground for quite some time. And this is stocked with food, water, everything they need. It's an underground city. So this is the north entrance, and we're going to go see if we can do some more digging.
Well, it would seem some very strange happenings are going on. First, I remind you to go back in history and remember Donald Rumsfeld's comment the day before the attack of 9/11, where he said that the Pentagon had lost $2.3 trillion, and then just fortunately, then the Pentagon was destroyed the next day on 9/11, 2001. Well, I believe a lot of that money went to go to spending for certain operations for the CIA, FEMA, Homeland Security, and a lot of that was building underground military complex. Fast forward to August of this year, if you remember that D.C. that happened, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and also in Colorado, there's evidence pointing to that not being an earthquake as much as it was probably a nuclear explosion done by the good guys, the Black Ops military, who found out about the evil plans of the globalists that were planning on killing off a huge percentage of the population and going and running and hiding in the military underground complex. So what they've done is cut off some escape routes during that time.
Hi, I'm Janet Napolitano, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security begins with hometown security. That's why I'm pleased that Walmart is helping to make our communities more safe and secure. If you see something suspicious in the parking lot or in the store, say something immediately. Report suspicious activity to your local police or sheriff. If you need help, ask a Walmart manager for assistance. Thank you for doing your part to help keep our hometowns safe.
Here we are at Corporate Slave America Walmart Supercenter in Hickory, North Carolina, where just before the holidays, Hickory Police Department decided they needed to put up one of these OCX Skywatch towers. They purchased it using JAG grant funding from the Federal Recovery Act of 2009. They started out during the holiday seasons saying they were going to patrol the area for the mass influx of customers coming through here. But what we have seen is that they just moved it shortly after the turn of the year to the local Target parking lot, and they also ended up putting it over at the mall. But this week I ride by and here it is back here again. It's manufactured by OCX, ICX. They are a Department of Homeland Security contractor. I don't believe they're out here today, or else they would have already started a conversation with me. I've talked to them before. All they really had to say was that it was, quote, operational. Security cameras. This is total police state. First time I come out here, somebody had a van parked out here that said, Ron Paul was right. They say this can be equipped with infrared security cameras, but I don't believe this one particular model is. It has weather, wind speed. You can see the high intensity lighting there, fog lights, and the megaphone. So you can just imagine what that would look like in the dark in a foggy night with a bunch of protesters around it. The manufacturer of this thing here even says on their website that it can be used for crowd control and civil unrest. Let's see if I can get an exact count on them, the security cameras. It actually comes down, there's no ladder. Part of it I think is solar powered. They have a heater inside, air conditioner. It's got a megaphone on every side. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. At least 3 security cameras. And this is Hickory, North Carolina, right here where the police state is coming into effect. Slowly but surely they're desensitizing the public to their presence. We're seeing them out here every single day. There it is. It's right over there. Okay, you see up here on the right, they got the privacy green fence with barbed wire all over it. Well, it's razor wire. And fresh water source. Everything's set up here for them. Slow down. This is their little complex. The sun's in the way. It's an underground facility. It's like a base. That's the top of it. Why in the hell does Walmart Supercenter need that? See the Walmart trucks? And I worked in this little white building here. See, it's like a military style entrance, kind of like a FEMA camp. But I worked in this white building here, and I saw there's a tunnel. You can go from in that building to the underground facility, which is over there. Pretty trippy stuff.
The fact is, this devouring beast of a corporation ruthlessly stomps on workers, neighborhoods, competitors, and suppliers. It has and will continue to destroy the world economy and labor force. It is the perfect New World Order enterprise. The Walton family, which controls Walmart today and is actually the richest family in the United States, lives on blood money. They operate jointly with the City of London Wall Street bankers. The truth is, this family became one of the world's wealthiest families by decimating the US and world physical economies. The Wall Street City of London financier oligarchs have financially backed and in fact directed the development of Walmart since it was founded in 1962 by Sam Walton, who also founded Sam's Club. Ironically, this is a man who is highly respected by the club. Make no mistake about that. Sam Walton was a captain in U.S. Army intelligence and friends with none other than the New World Order Bush family themselves and George Bush Sr. The Walton family's support for the Bushes goes back many years. Back in 2002, John Walton, son of Sam Walton, contributed $325,000 to Jeb Bush, brother of George Bush and former governor of Florida. Should anyone be surprised?
Nearly a day doesn't go by where I don't hear from a senior concerned about the rising costs of prescription drugs. And we're doing something about it in Florida. We've passed a prescription drug benefit for lower-income seniors. It will be a benefit of $160 a month that will make it possible for people to afford the drugs that they need and not have to make these incredibly difficult choices between paying rent or food and paying for their drug costs. And with this extra benefit for seniors, I'm convinced that a whole lot of people can have peace of mind.
So we can now understand and realize why George Bush Sr. became very emotional for Sam Walton during the ceremony for the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which was awarded to Sam Walton by Bush. It is dubbed as the highest civilian award of the United States. Supposedly, it recognizes those individuals who have made, quote, an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural or other significant public or private endeavors, end quote. Other winners of this award are the likes of Alan Greenspan, Donald Rumsfeld, Tony Blair, and the ever-caring humanitarian David Rockefeller.
America's highest civilian honor, the Medal of Freedom, awarded to Samuel M. Walton, March 17, 1992.
But first, of course, my respects to Sam Walton and to Helen Walton, one of God's truly special people. We come here to honor a man who shows that through hard work and vision and treating people right, many good things can happen. This visit is not about Sam Walton's wealth. He's earned his money, and that's his business. He's been generous with his fortune, and that is in the great tradition of America's commitment to this concept that I call 1,000 points of light, enhancing the lives of millions. The story of Sam Walton is an illustration of the American dream. His success is our success, America's success. And, sir, you are generous and genuine, tireless and tenacious, and you took risks and helped our country grow vigorous and strong. And your life is going to help them appreciate that ours is the freest, most blessed country on the face of the earth. I salute you, sir, for your vision, and I am proud to give you your nation's highest civilian honor. The world can therefore seize this opportunity to fulfill the long-held promise of a new world order. We can find meaning and reward by serving some higher purpose than ourselves, a shining purpose, the illumination of 1,000 points of light. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
And so, fast forward to 2015, and Walmart is currently under close scrutiny by many, with the mysterious and very suspicious closings of several Walmart stores across the country, allegedly due to plumbing. Many people are now beginning to connect the dots with regards to Walmart and their connection to the government. Their connection, partnerships, and joint ventures with various government agencies on record now, as well as contributions to the tune of at least $1 billion from the U.S. government. It's no surprise why suspicion and concern is at an all-time high regarding this highly connected corporation.
I wanted to say a little bit about Walmart based on some of my own research of the company, some of the stories I'd heard from people or vendors that have actually worked with them and such. I actually have a friend who has a friend who sold a bunch of pizzas to Walmart, about 10,000 pizzas, and well, they have such a contract set up to where you send them the product and they pay you later, okay? What ended up happening was they ended up sending most of all the pizzas back to this guy. And this guy had a small company, so you can imagine what happened. What do you do with 10,000 pizzas? If Walmart's your only customer who is going to buy 10,000 pizzas, well, obviously, you're going to be eating pizza for a while, you know what I mean? He went out of business, of course. So that's a way that they can put vendors out of business, is they'll buy stuff from you, and because of the way the contract's set up, they send them back. They send the product back to you if it doesn't sell fast enough. Okay? Now, I've read many articles and done some studies on how vendors have been pushed around by Walmart. They're a monopoly for the most part in the industry, other than, you know, maybe Myers or Kroger. And Myers is like maybe, I don't know, like 1/30th the size. You know, Kroger, I don't know how that compares. But with Walmart, you know, you obviously can buy more stuff in Walmart than you can buy at Kroger. You have all these electronics and things you can buy there as well. And a lot of the vendors, from what I understand, particularly with electronics, around 2000, I was reading an article by Huffy about the company Huffy Bikes. You know, they actually were pushed to manufacture all their items outside of America because Walmart said your price has to be this low or we're going to get rid of you. And knowing that they have such a huge market sector, you can't say no to Walmart. So if you're wondering why we have stuff manufactured in China, you can ask Walmart why. Because they're the ones who pushed the prices down so low that these companies had to push their manufacturing outside of America. You thought it was just the vendors, didn't you? You thought the vendors were like, hey, we got to have cheap labor. No, actually. Maybe some of them. A lot of them had people that were working for them. They were, you know, sort of close-knit communities, these factories for various companies, manufacturing companies. And they didn't want to ruin people's families. They didn't want to have to, you know, close down factories. But Walmart told them to lower the price or no business. And if you say no to Walmart, it could be the end of your company. So they either had to evolve or die, you know, change or die, basically. And so now you know where or why everything's manufactured in China. It's not because all these vendors are like, oh, we want to be cheaper. I mean, there might have been a little bit of that. A lot of it was because Walmart pushed them to manufacture in China. And the question is if they were friends with Bush's family, Bush Sr., why would they want to have everything manufactured over in China? Other than the fact it's cheap labor. It seems to me like there's a little bit of an agenda there. You see what I mean? And it's an intriguing question. Maybe you have the answer to that question.
I heard that it was shut down because of a plumbing problem. Is that correct?
Well, employees of the Brandon store were among more than 2,000 employees nationwide who learned that they were being laid off yesterday. In almost identical manners yesterday, Walmart corporate employees visited 5 stores and told them that the stores would be closing that evening. The affected locations were Pico Rivera, California, Los Angeles County, Midland, Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Livingston, Texas, and of course here in Brandon. Now, this photo is from that California location. You can see people protesting, about 500 people laid off there. They were told that they had to be closed immediately for 6 months due to those persistent plumbing issues. Now, this was from the Tulsa, Oklahoma store last night, just before it closed. The I-Team has learned that none of those 5 affected stores have sought any plumbing permits for future repairs.
Don't know that we actually closed 5 stores at one time because these are stores that we had some issues with all kinds of different things. You know, they're older stores. They were built quite some time ago. You know, so they're not meeting the new codes. So we had that issue going on. At the same time, we also wanted to go in and do the new remodel on them. So instead of going section by section by section, we just said, you know what, we just need to close the whole store and just do it right, get it done. Our workers can get in there, do their jobs, not have to worry about customers and stuff, because that's hard for them to work around a lot of moving people and stuff, because they can't control that. So that this way they have everything under their control and they can get in and do their job and get it done. Okay.
Right. Well, our local news had reported. That's the reason I was calling.
Yeah, and they reported a lot of rumors so far on a lot of different things, and I do apologize that they have. They haven't called over to the media and talked to them, because otherwise they would have talked directly with our media relations. But yeah, there are a lot of different things that will be addressed in that. Okay, because that is a much older store.
Does this have anything to do with the Jade Helm 15 military exercise?
No.
Not at all?
No, there's plenty of those available to them without having to bother us. They've got that handled already. That's already been handled with this.
Okay, so you're familiar with the Jade Helm being linked to Walmart stores and everything?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because there's a big buzz on the internet saying that Jade Helm.
Yeah, and again, people are just talking and rumors, and somebody says something, next thing you know, it's off and going, and it's off to the races, and it's like, okay.
Right, so there's.
No, that's not the issue. I can't tell you that.
Okay, so there's no tunneling underneath Walmart stores and big military operations getting ready for a hostile takeover of America or anything like that, huh?
No.
So what's the date that store in Tulsa will be open?
I don't have an exact date because, of course, when we come out, we got to go through city inspection, health code inspections. We've got, several hoops there that we got to jump through, at each store, at each local level, before they'll give us the stamp of approval saying, yes, okay, you can open. And for us to say, oh, it's going to be this date. Well, we can safely say 6 months, because it might be a few days or even up to a month earlier, or it could be a few days late, depending on everybody do their job properly, do it right. When you're dealing with a herd of cats, trying to get them all to get everything done properly, sometimes that gets hard. And because when you have that many contractors in there working at one time, it feels like herding cats.
Jade Helm decoded. That's the focus of this edition of Breaking Point on the Next News Network. Local media is reporting that citizens of Big Spring, Texas have seen helicopters and tanks moving into their town. This comes just a month after Thomas Meade spoke to the Big Spring City Council asking for their invitation. And following the 30-minute presentation on Jade Helm, resident Kimberly York had the courage to confront them with some pretty tough comments and questions.
Kimberly York, and I actually am one of the county residents, and I'm a little distressed with the fact, A, the county issued an invitation without letting the citizens know that it's going on in the county. I think that we should have been informed. I feel like it's being hidden from us about, and then all of a sudden an invitation's issued and it's on us. And I'm a little bit concerned about that. I think as citizens we have the right. I also am a hospice nurse. I have a lot of concerns about our elderly population in this county and in this city by things that are going on and being distressed. It may double our phone calls for home healths and hospices because we will be the first persons they call and get distressed. What the press is putting out is really different than what we're seeing here today. The press is telling us, oh, you're not going to hear about it, you're not going to see it, it's just not going to affect your lives. Well, what we're reading here is that it might affect our lives. And I think as citizens of this county, we should have a voice in whether that invitation is issued. I've got some, like I said, some real concerns. There's safeties for civilians. Why are we looking at safety issues if there's nothing to see here right now? By the way, I am a military brat. I do support the military. I feel that there's other ways of training than inflicting it on the citizens of this county.
Now, she felt the groundwork had already been laid. Then the military contractor simply came in to pitch the invite, as if it was a foregone conclusion. Now, before we get into the meat of the drill, let's talk about the potatoes. The military is enticing the invitations from the communities, stating that this 2-month drill will spur the local economies.
For example, food. If my team says I need 50 pounds of potatoes, I'm not bringing those potatoes from Fort Bragg. I'm not bringing those from North Carolina. My guys will go to the grocery store, they'll purchase 50 pounds of potatoes, and then they will be appropriately put in an item or in a location to be recovered by the training unit. So we're going to buy those things here.
Yes, you heard him correctly. A 50-pound bag of potato. That costs about $10 US at your local Walmart. Now, that was his example. And that, my friends, is the value being placed upon you, opening up your homes, your properties, your businesses, and your streets to this military exercise. Now, this guy certainly doesn't mind as long as his Walmart doesn't close and he doesn't miss the next rerun of How I Met Your Mother.
It's going to boost local economy as well, because you're going to have thousands of troops here buying groceries, the military is going to be buying fuel in the area.
Now for the meat of the operation, what should be expected to take place?
What can you expect? Now understand that this slideshow is our standard slideshow that we use to brief the counties and the cities. Within the cities, you won't see most of this, I would tell you. For example, increased aircraft in the area at night. You'll see that out in the rural area. We have a resupply, an aerial drop that will occur, and then some paratroopers as well will jump into Martin County in early August. It won't happen within the city limits.
So there you have it. In a nutshell, U.S. military coordinating with local law enforcement and elements of the willing public. They'll be conducting clandestine activities, carrying weapons under aircraft cover at night, wearing armbands with a special insignia for 2 months across 10 states. This is by far the greatest public conditioning exercise in American history. This, as the world watches Cheyenne Mountain reopening in anticipation of an EMP attack and key operations of the New York Federal Reserve moving to Chicago in the event of a natural disaster. Now, the event that is truly on the horizon is anyone's guess. However, one thing is for sure, troops will be ready and trained to take over your town when it happens.